of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. All right.
I move we approve the agenda as stated.
Second. We didn't even get a second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the agenda as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and so now we're going to just move right on to this awesome community board. So I was wondering, I know she's hiding in here because I've worked with her forever, but maybe we have that Sherry Ford to come on up here with me. You're all right. We're going to turn this down because it's been on the all right. It is an honor to recognize Sherry Ford as our Community Impact Award recipient. Ready for all this good stuff? Sherry Ford is a can-do type of person that gets things done with a positive attitude, yet most of her work tends to be in the background. Sherry is a champion for our community. Through her leadership, Columbia Health Services has become the go-to health provider in Columbia County. Sherry has not only set the Sacagawea Health Center up for financial sustainability, but she has added 4 additional school-based health centers across Columbia County. And in doing so, has provided access to health care for children, families, and community members across the economic spectrum. Sherry, love this word, is a voracious grant writer and has brought in over $5 million in grant funding to support our community. Through her efforts, she has funded a countywide suicide prevention task force, sources of suicide prevention programs in our schools, provided a nurse to support and develop our St. Helens High School medical CTE program, and is providing multiple social workers for every school district in the county to support the social and emotional well-being of our children, named just a few things, right? Sherry Ford is also very active in the Connect St. Helens work to build a stronger community where everyone feels belonging. She currently has multiple grant applications out and is awaiting approval for potentially millions more of dollars to support our students and community. She is a passionate advocate for our schools and community, leading the way to support student health and wellness, community development, and risk prevention. She is proud of the fact that she is able to serve our community that raised her, and that Columbia Health Services employs a local workforce of people dedicated to our community as much as she is. Please join me in congratulating a humble community hero, Sherry Ford, by presenting her with the St. Helens School District Community Impact Award. Yes.
I have 2 other individuals that I'd like to.
I would love you to do that.
That's helpful.
Okay.
However, we have 2 students that have tirelessly joined us at the board meetings. And I know at times these meetings are riveting, and I appreciate them staying awake for those. So the first thank you goes to Amelia. I really appreciate your hard work, your care. On behalf of the board, we really appreciate the updates you give to keep us engaged and up to speed with what's going on at the high school. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
The other individual, Colton. Colton is our first student board member of the St. Helens School District. The board came together last summer and had this vision of trying to provide more voice for students and have a student actually sitting as a member of the board. in a short amount of time. There was lots of discussion, and we knew that we didn't have enough time to run a vote or a process. And Colton's name came up multiple times because he had done work like that. Colton took that on with grace. He took it on with courage. He spoke up many times when others have not. And I am just so proud and feel like he was the absolute best choice to lead me, the first student representative on the board. We're looking forward to the next, but until that time, I think this is probably your last meeting. We thought that you graduate here coming up. Although you are on the budget committee.
He's on the budget team too.
So, on behalf of the board, Colton, you have done work well beyond our expectation, and I want to thank you for that.
All right, so the next thing on our agenda is 4.0 is a visitors to address the board. And this time is for public comment on non-agenda items. Do you have any? Okay, so on those then, the board will not take any immediate action, but will refer these concerns to the superintendent and ask him to report back to the board. We appreciate you keeping comments to 3 minutes per individual, or 5 minutes if you are representing a group of patrons. Please note, under Oregon Revised Statutes, personnel concerns will not be discussed in a public meeting. If you have any concerns like that with personnel, please schedule a meeting with our superintendent. All right, so our first one looks like, Nicole Humphrey, is that how it's saying? Come on up, Nicole. Topic is youth cheer at middle school. Yes. Would you like to have a seat? Go ahead. Thank you.
Long? No, maybe.
I think so.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm also a big member of the community out here, and I do a lot of the sports. Thank you. I'm also a big member of the community out here, and I do a lot of sports to help keep the kids out of trouble. I have done St. Helens Youth Cheer for the last 9 years now, and it's all 3 of my kids went from 2nd grade to graduating 8th grade. So what I'm doing is last year I merged with the middle school for the last 2 years. However, this year I'm just going to be the coordinator and just help run it. So I'm coming to you guys as a proposal for you to open a spot and create a cheer spot to be able to have at the middle school, and I can coordinate and run and do all of this stuff. Because it's, SHYC wants to just do 2nd through 5th grade now, and then I want to do separate 6th through 8th grade so I can work with the high school and get them to go to college camps and to do a dance team as well. So that's what I'm here for, so you guys can consider that position at the middle school. And then also, the other thing is I'm a big member of softball out here. I've done softball all the way from T-ball all the way up to I help in high school right now. So, and I don't know if you guys have heard about the ACEs. That's the one we're sponsored by Halloween Town. Yep, that's us. So I was wondering maybe if I can dipple in the high school a little bit and help them kind of structure and do things, because coach has been there for a while and kind of needs help. My husband or ex-husband is the JV coach, and so I just kind of want to help restructure the program. So that's what I came here for today. Because I'm going to keep the same for this year. I was coming to hopefully get the changes for next year, but however you guys want to do the process, because I'm still going to do it regardless. You're welcome.
Thank you for your time. Thanks. All right, well, it looks like a guy with the same last name named Matt Freeman about the softball fields. Go here.
Superintendent Stockwell and members of the board. I took a look at the proposal last week regarding the fields, and I saw that there was 2 proposals. One being turf the existing varsity field for.
Actually, for clarification, there aren't any actual proposals.
Okay.
Like they were conceptual, and there's no actual plans for
Yeah.
fields
Okay.
yet.
For the conceptual
We
ones.
weren't working with a whole bunch of
So-
people.
Like there's
One-
20
Oh, there's
plans.
20. Okay, I saw from the YouTube video, but from what YouTube video I saw, one had turfing the varsity softball field where it exists today and turfing the varsity baseball field where it exists. I didn't see anything with a JV softball field.
Yeah, go for it.
The plan is to have the JV softball field in there. It's just that
Okay.
drawing didn't show the entire field.
Perfect.
So there will absolutely be a JV and varsity field on campus for both baseball and softball.
We have
Excellent.
our stuff in the weed.
Yeah. Right, no problem. And then the other one I saw was having the varsity softball field way out in the back 40 with a soccer pitch, looked like, or another field that was intersecting the outfield. By having it out there, you take the girls and you move them away from concessions, you move them away from flushable toilets. You force them to use porta potties. Every time they go into a porta potty, it's telling them that they're not worthy. Every time that they have to set up a temporary fence or take down a temporary fence because their field is shared, it says that they're not worthy. Every time that they have to make that long hike out there, past all the other sporting events, says they're not worthy. The girls deserve to have a field that is by concessions, by flushable toilets. That's easy to get to. I'm just hoping that you take that into account. As a softball parent, we've dealt with porta potties. They're never pleasant, especially when your team's playing and you have a force of using a dirty porta potty or possibly missing a game or a play and running back over the flushable toilets. So things to take into thought for that, and just make sure that the girls know that they're worthy of a dedicated field, not something that's shared, not a shared resource that's during the off season that they're fighting for time, but something that is theirs. Thank you.
Just letting you know, Matt, softball player for 30 years, and I use those outhouses in that exactly. All right, let's see, we'll go on to our next page here. And consent agenda 5.2.
I'll second.
It's been moved and approved to second. The consent agenda, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Okay, so next thing, we're just gonna get on a roll now. We're on 6.0 for new business. 6.1 is recognition of our senior National Honor Society members. But listen to
Well, I tell you, I had some conversations with one of your board members about what counts as service hours. And apparently the superintendent has overruled me. And he says that meetings for Colton count as service hours. So apparently he's got billions of hours loaded up. So look at it, nice. So anyhow. Yes, thank you guys. We appreciate you having time to recognize NHS members who are part of our club. And I guess I don't have the prepared thing like you had, but I did want to say what they, really proud of these seniors who are here. They work really hard, have really good grades. They're really going to be missed because they make you smile a lot. They're like the happy, wonderful kids that have at school. Except for Catherine Nelson, everybody's wonderful. I'm teasing Catherine, you're wonderful. But no, they're great kids, and it's really been nice to have them. I know they're really sad they don't have a couple more days of school. I know that's really breaking their hearts. I see it every day when they come to class. It's so sad. They can't wait. I guess they're wishing school would go longer. So if you guys could put in a couple more days in the calendar, I think they would enjoy
You
that.
go back and have those snow days.
No, but we want to recognize them for all the hard work they've done and really appreciate their efforts and the time they put into NHS. So, with that being said, why don't we have Colton be our first person to come up. All right. Congratulations.
Stacey, do you want to go line up right here?
Oh, that's so much better. Thank you.
And Therese Corpella. Yep. And Sammy Gleason. Myers. And Ty Mattinen. And Catherine Nelson. And Tyler Cole. And Wyatt Mattinen. And I appreciate you guys being here, and give them one last applause.
Squish in, guys, squish in, so you can get right in if you like. Love you, Tyler. Love you, Tyler.
All right. There you go, perfect. I gotta get this to
Great, there we go.
You betcha.
Should I give him an opportunity to escape if he
You
wants
need another picture? Oh, where'd she go?
So, Mr. Musin, do all of those guys need to stay to still get a little bit more time and?
What are you trying to do? You know
I'm
how hard I
trying
used
to
to
see
get
if
them
we
to
can
come
try
to
to
these
let them
things?
escape, you know?
You're saying they should cut a little bit of slack?
Yeah. they
I'm
were-
not in civics class anymore.
There we go.
That's true, that's true.
Tyler, I give you permission to leave.
All right.
All right.
Anybody else want to escape while you got
Well done. I'll see you.
Quitters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's. You're gonna hold it against us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Unless you're giving us permission to leave.
Nice going on.
Have a great night.
Yeah, good luck, yeah.
Alright, they have things to do to graduate. All right, well then we will go on to 6.2, to the inroads presentation. With, I've got a Nathan and Annette Pixley here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, I'm Annette Pixley. I'm the marketing supervisor at Inroads Credit Union, and this is my favorite day of the year. I get to give you guys money. The Team Up for Schools program, you guys should hopefully all be familiar with that. That's a program where we've got co-branded debit cards that have the, oh, look, Kelly's got a card. Bonus points. Look at that. Oh, you've got one too. I should have brought swag for you guys, man. There you go. So every time you swipe your card, 5 cents is donated to the St. Helens School District for St. Helens High School. And this is just the end of our 6th year. And this year we saw an increase in cardholders, about 3.7%. We've got almost 3,500 folks in this community who have a St. Helens Lions Team Up for Schools debit card. So I'm going to introduce Nathan Cox. He's our new CEO at Inroads. This is the first time he gets to be part of this process, and I'm going to let him do the honors.
So we have this check that you can put in the ATM after the meeting, but we're gonna present a check for just over $50,000.
Yeah.
And this $50,000 represents in the last school year approximately 1 million swipes. Yeah, that's a lot of swipes in 9 months. So if you do the math, it's very nice. And then over the 6 years that we've been a part of the program, we've donated or contributed about $224,000. So we really appreciate the partnership, and it's part of our mission for financial wellness to help and educate the youth. So thank you again for your opportunity.
I do have one real check that might actually fit in the ATM. Who wants Scott? Oh, Jessica.
Photo deposit, however you wanna do it, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
She wants to get.
Yeah, we need to get a quick picture. Thank you.
Okay, fine.
Here you go.
We do want to thank En-ROADS for their ongoing support. They've funded multiple activities. They've helped fund the cameras that have gone in to show sporting activities. They've funded students going to events and activities. They help support AVID. They support many things through those funds. That extra that at times as a district, when we aren't able to, they've been able to support. So thank you very much. Enough things can't be said.
Nice to meet you. All right, now we're gonna go to 6.3, a brief update, and Leila, Michelle. Deeply. Say it again, please. Deeply, okay. And students, so it looks like you've got a few multiples with you. Welcome, everybody.
Hi. My name is Layla Deakley. I am the YEC for the St. Helens Middle School and Plymouth High School Solutions Program.
Good afternoon. My name is Abraham Escobar, and I am the Youth Essentials Coordinator at the high school in St. Helens.
We do have a video to share. It's a little, it's an overview of everything that we've done over the full year, and also it has some student voices that weren't able to come today.
Thank you. What did you say? There we go.
So this is some of the things we've done this year.
It's like,
You can advance with the clicker there.
Oh, thank you.
Or I can do it.
Cool. So just to show you some numbers, REAP works with about 77 students altogether during the school year. There was 38 students that attended summer programming this past summer, and we got the breakdown up there, and that's the students that have enrolled. But obviously we touch more students, just through interactions, lunches, after school programming. This is what summer looked like. This last year, we were there for about 8 weeks using the middle school building, and we got to take the students on different field trips. And this is just the walk we took to the park. Some more happy faces. At the end of the 8 weeks, we had what we call the Institute of Purpose, and this is where we gathered all the students, and we were was it in Portland?
we were at Intel
In Hillsborough. And we just had like a closing conference to the 8 weeks, just all things leadership and business and fun stuff. Some more field trips. REAP is at about 26 different sites. And so we brought these sites together and we took them to different field trips every Friday that summer.
Last year we went to Treaty Tree, we went to Wild Wave, Things and Waves, Oaks Park. But none of this cost the students or the parents anything. We paid for it.
It was all covered. Oh, by the way, we also had some during the summer, which we'll have this year again. We have some interns that is paid by Portland Public Works and also by REAP and different funds. So students also get to make some money. We have some of our girls back here were interns last summer. Made some bank. So school solutions programming. This is at the middle school, I believe. The students lead the programming on what they want to learn about. Subjects of identity, education, health, business, and civics. And the reason we're here today is because that connects to civics, and it has to do with being involved in your community, speaking at the board. And you'll hear some of these students speak in a little bit. All right. All right. Some more pictures at the high school. some happy smiling faces. Middle school. And then this is our Young Men of Purpose event. This was held at the DoubleTree in Portland. Joseph is on one of those pictures. He was one of the MCs and speakers for the event. So REAP is really all about student voice and getting the students to speak and overcome their fears. Jathan is definitely dancing. St. Helens School District really showed out for that day. As you can tell, our guys are looking very handsome with their ties. Same goes for our ladies. Very involved. Once again, this is all free for the students. Our most recent field trip to the Oregon Humane Society.
Our students, so the middle schoolers couldn't go because I couldn't have equity for all of them to go because there's an age limit. So I wanted to make sure that they all had a chance to do something. I had them donate their time and making toys for the animals. We made felt toys. I got felt donated so they made something like 35 to 40 dog toys, all different sizes. They made cat toys. And we also made food. We also made toys for the rabbits and the guinea pigs.
PCC preview days, that goes together with our education module. So we just try to do field trips that connect with the modules that we're doing so they get, that double impact, not just learning it, but actually going out there and connecting with what we're talking about. Then our family nights, we have one in the fall and the spring. I think in the fall, we had about 120 people show up. And this is mixed both with Plymouth Middle School and the high school students. So they brought their parents, their families. Very impactful to see a lot of students of color and just a lot of diversity. And then some of those pictures are also from our last family night, which was in the spring a few weeks ago. I got to eat some Panda Express. That's always a favorite one here. And again, always student voice.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm a student at St. Helens Middle School, and REAP has helped me be confident about talking in front of small crowds and knowing that you won't be judged and knowing that anybody is welcomed.
I learned that being in REAP has taught me that my opinion and what I say matters, and that someone is listening and someone cares about what I'm saying, and someone is gonna back me up in what I say. And it has also taught me I have someone there for me when I need it, when I'm going through something personal. So I thank REAP for that. And I also thank REAP because it taught me that there's no stupid questions. And if I have a question, just ask it, because what is gonna happen to me if I ask it? Nothing. I'm gonna answer the question. And I'm thankful for REAP.
I have learned from Yep to have more confidence so that people will have confidence in me and my business, and so they won't, if I don't have confidence, they probably won't have confidence in me or my business. So
REAP has another program called the YEP program, which is the Young Entrepreneur Program, and students from any of the schools that we serve can sign up to that. And they will meet with a mentor on business side through Zoom. And I think yearly they have a field trip. I think last time they went to California just to tour a lot of the really big businesses out there. So we're really looking to empower students, not just academically, but also know that they can start businesses and they can get funding and all those wonderful things.
REAP's mission is to proactively ignite, elevate, and engage the next wave of leaders for the future now.
We're going to have some of our students speak now, and I'll just give them the mic. We'll start with Janet. Go ahead.
Hello, My name is Janet Vasquez Martinez, and I am a student from St. Helens High School. And I would like to talk about my experiences as a REAP student and how it has positively impacted me and the school climate. REAP has given me the experience to go on fun field trips, visit colleges, overcome my fear of public speaking, and meeting new friends. Going to visit colleges was a really eye-opening experience for me. I enjoyed meeting new people and hearing their stories about how their college life went. And I enjoyed meeting all the really nice professors and like getting to know about them and like all their life in college too. Since I am a junior in high school and not that far from college, it really put in perspective on what I need to focus on in order to succeed in the future. I wouldn't have done it without REAP. It has also helped me speak up on situations where I felt like I have been silenced or felt like nobody would listen to me. It has helped me and other students deal with the racism at the high school because it seemed like nobody cared. REAP was the only place I felt safe and where I could really be myself without feeling judged or feeling like everybody was ignoring me. Everyone I've met through REAP have been nothing but nice to me. I made a lot of friends that I normally wouldn't have because I'm not really a social person. But I'm glad that Abraham kept going up to me and kept asking me to join REAP. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking in front of all of you today. This is only a small sneak peek of how REAP has impacted students. I'm looking forward for the future of REAP and hope it'll help out students just like it helped me out. Thank you for your time. My ask from the school board is that REAP may continue providing services for students in the school district so that more students may have these empowering experiences. Thank you.
We have time for one more student. Yeah, does that work? Yeah. Go ahead, Isa.
Hello, my name is Isabel. I'm a REAP student from Plymouth High School, and I would like to talk about how REAP has positively impacted the community that it has provided for people and the school in general. I think that REAP is a really good thing to join if like you want to be able to connect with people that you don't normally think you would be able to, because me being in REAP for the first year I have joined it, it's impacted me personally a lot, and I feel like it's impacted a lot of people that have joined it too. Being in REAP is a good thing to do if you want to figure out what you want to do with your life when you grow up. I know that when I went to PCC, it showed me that maybe going to college was a better idea for me. And it showed me that it would help me figure out what I want to do, what I want to like be with myself when I grow up and everything. REAP has given me a lot of experiences to meet people that I normally wouldn't meet, to go places I normally wouldn't go, to just do things that you wouldn't really normally do in general. I think it's a good thing to do. REAP has impacted a lot of people, and I think that it'd be a good idea for a lot more people to join because they don't really know what it's like until you actually join it. But so I feel like REAP has personally helped me like talk in public more, has helped me do a lot of things that I would normally not do with my comfort zone and everything. And I think it's a good idea to join REAP because it can push you out of your comfort zone in a good way, and it gives you a healthy community to talk to people when you need to talk to people about personal problems, school problems, anything that you feel like you're closeted to not talk about or you're silenced to not talk about. REAP can help you overcome your fear of talking about problems that you normally wouldn't talk about. So I think that it'd be a really good idea for REAP to continue with all the schools.
Yeah. One last one? You ready? Okay. All right, we'll wrap it up then. Any last remarks? No? Well, thank you so much for your time. I don't know if you guys have any questions. If not, then we'll be wrapping up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to 6.4, our ASB report.
you have to say that you raised the standard discipline in your program, so.
I'm Amelia Watkins, as you probably know by now, and I'm the ASB Public Relations Officer. I'm going to tell you some things that are happening around the high school or that has already happened. So the first thing was OASC Spring Conference. OASC stands for the Oregon Association of Student Councils. We send our leadership team every fall and spring for a conference. This year's theme for the conference was the building blocks of leadership. So it was kind of construction themed. So you can see some of us dressed up in that picture on the right. And our leadership team received, or our student council, I guess, received the Gold Council Award, which we had to apply for. It basically just means that we did really good with planning all of our events this year, and with how we advertised it, our profit, made us qualify for that. And the conference was a lot of fun. Prom, as many of you know, the theme was Hollywood Red Carpet. Before expenses, we made $9,675. We sold roughly 216 tickets. Our court was Sam Kent, Sadie McGuire, Latia Miller, Heather Hayduke, Josh Duhame, Kevin Keith, Grayson Hall, and Joseph Escobar. And our prom queens were Sadie McGuire and Latia. Next was More Spirit Week. Monday was Monochrome Monday, so you're supposed to dress in your class color. Tuesday was Tie-Dye Tuesday, so wear tie-dye. Wednesday was Wild Ways Wednesday, so dress in beach wear. And then Thursday was Dress Like a Teacher. And then Friday was Freaky Friday, so swap style with one of your friends. And for more itself, our court fundraised $510 for the 2020 Humane Society. That is our more royalty, Keely Scoville, and she fundraised $235. And in total, before expenses, the more dance, we made $1,100. These were some fundraisers that we had coming up. So we did have the movie and trivia night. We didn't get anyone to show up, so that was kind of a bust. But we still think it was a really good idea. It was just our promotion was kind of confusing, and there were just some problems we needed to tweak. But we still think it was a good idea and one that we want to revisit in the future. Another one we have coming up is a mod fundraiser. That one, it's coming up, I think either this week or next week. But that's just going towards our ASB account. We have a karaoke game night for the freshman class, and that will be May 30th. And then right now we are selling high school blankets for $70, and that is a junior class fundraiser, so all of the profit will go towards the junior class.
Is it the same police material as before, or do you know?
I asked that question because I know a lot of people really liked them last year. I believe they are. But I don't think it's the same company, but it should be still, they're really soft. Yeah. And then these were just some pictures of next year's senior class officers and ASB officers picking out their announcements for next year's graduation with Jostens. And then this next week will be graduation spirit week. So Tuesday will be class color day. Wednesday, after high school plan, so wear college gear, trade school gear, any career gear, or military. And then Thursday is Throwback Thursday, so you're gonna dress up as your freshman self. And then Friday, we're gonna do decorated graduation. And I believe that is all I have.
Thank goodness that's all the program, you gotta go back.
For me, this is my freshman self essentially, so.
Not even a hard work for you then.
Yeah, jeans, cargo shorts, and a Star Wars t-shirt, that's it. That's all you need in life.
Yeah. Turning you get along really well.
Amelia, thank you so much for your passion for what you've done here, your presentation. Really enjoyed your demonstration.
Thank you.
Just make sure you show next year's.
I will. Definitely.
All right, well then we'll go on to 6.5, our school reports. Who's going first?
Let's start with our preschool.
Okay, then we're gonna start with Dan.
I included mine in our presentation.
Oh, so then we're moving on to elementary.
Okay, then which one? Hang up, Brett. Jen?
Yeah, we can.
Come on up, come hang out together.
We don't have Roger, so present
Yeah,
together. We'll
Roger's
cover.
right here, you know,
Yeah.
I think Disneyland, down in Philadelphia.
Roger is at a prestigious track meet. His son is participating in, as a school district, we want parents to be involved with their children, and our expectation is for our staff to be involved with their children, so he's not here.
You made us talk. So we'll share them. Oh, good.
Good evening, I'm Martine Barnett, principal at Lewis and Clark. And at Lewis and Clark, we had a very successful fun run that was excellent. Last year we had done it outside, so it was fun to be back in the gym, and our gym has air conditioning now, so it was fabulous. So that was very exciting. And our PTO has been really active in raising a lot of money this year, which is really exciting, and our families are really showing up and supporting us. We had tons of parent volunteers, which was also added to the fun of the run. And then we're really looking forward to our upcoming field trips. This is kind of a return to something that feels really normal, but and yeah, kids are excited. We've got 5th graders going to BizTown, and we've got zoo field trips. I think Roger mentioned OMSI for one of his classes. We also have our crossing guard celebration coming up. Our crossing guards have been very committed at keeping us safe all school year, so we're excited to recognize those outstanding students. And we have some teacher Olympics coming up, which the students actually voted with we have Explorer tokens, or kind of a wooden nickel that are handed out when a student's caught doing something good or, following school rules, and so they get to vote for the thing they want, and they wanted Teacher Olympics, so we are excited for that.
Excellent. I'm Jennifer Bannister, Columbia City Elementary, and I'm also sharing a few things from Big Ride. And like Mrs. Barnett said, student experiences, lots of field trips. They had Alice in Wonderland play, family events. They had a barbecue and field day at Columbia City. We also were looking forward to our first family barbecue in a long time. We already have 200 people planning on attending, which doesn't seem like a lot, but we're a tiny school. So that is really pretty impressive. Our PTO, this is a new PTO we have. They've been doing beautiful work, creating a lot of fun community events. So they did bingo that brought in the Columbia City community, not just our families. We also had our fun run, which was very exciting, and next we did some wonderful events for us, really supporting our field trips. Let me see, what else? Big Ride and Columbia City and Lewis and Clark are all very excited about our multi-tiered systems of support, or RTI, getting that going, and really some support for students and enrichment for students, and really working on focus on essential learning targets. So that's a big piece. And Columbia City is looking forward to our spring showcase next Wednesday. You're invited if you'd like to join us. It's at 9 a.m. And morning. And it's going to be a park show as well. And the Otter Parks will be presenting their art as well. And as a matter of fact, their art is really, really nice. So there'll be an art gallery, and then the students will be singing songs that go along with a lot of the learning. So they'll be singing about pollinators and things of that sort. One thing we're working on, I hope it's all through schools, not just me, is spring is in the air, and there's a lot of excitement. So trying to keep things kind of, under control and going well. So it's a constant, just as I just said to my staff, that you gotta have all eyes at all times. You gotta be watching what's going on. So it's nothing terrible, but they're excited for school to be out.
You're under 20, the countdown has started.
Yes, and the sunny weather is back to woo.
Every day.
So, anyway, I think that's the official term, right, for woo?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies. So Martha,
Mr. Williams is at an event with his daughter who is performing. And so again, we encourage our parents to participate in their children's schools, and we expect our staff to participate in their children's schools.
So you get me? Happy to be here. I want to go over a few things that are going on in the middle school right now. First thing, we had our final spirit assembly last week. That's something that we brought back this year, having all of our kids gather in the gym and recognizing our student successes. And so we recognize kids who have made honor roll, different character traits. We recognize our athletes of the season, as well as just athletes that participated in our different sports programs. We also recognize students with positive behavior. And then we ended our assembly with a couple of different contests between different grade levels, which is fun having the kids cheer for their peers out there. And then the final event was a tug of war contest. 3 admin staff at the middle school, there were 6 kids, and the staff lost. But I'll tell you why. So Nate Payal, I don't know Nate,
Yeah.
no Nate, but he's an 8th grade kid, great athlete, but piggybacking on the League of Champions, which is at track meet today. It's a middle school state meet. Nate is down there competing, and he got 5th place in the state of Oregon for the shot put and 3rd place in the state of Oregon for discus. So that's pretty cool.
Did the kids pick themselves?
What's up?
Did the kids pick who was going to be in the tug of war?
I don't know. It's organized by Miss Sexton, our team of students. I don't know. They would pick Nate.
Yeah,
Sure.
he's going to do it.
Another thing that's really exciting that we're doing this year that's new is we have a fly up, which is coming up next Friday. And that's something that has come from community input, community voice. We will be inviting our 5th graders over to the middle school next Friday. We'll have time where the 5th graders will have a chance to get a cookie in the cafeteria with the admin staff. And then we'll break them up into different classes, and they'll tour different 6th grade teachers' classrooms, making sure to hit the core classes as well as some of the fun classes like our art classrooms, STEAM classrooms. We'll do a similar thing with our 6th graders. We'll fly up and visit some of the 7th grade core teachers and meet some of them. And then our 8th graders, we'll put them on buses and we'll take them to Oaks Park for the day and get them out of school. So that will be a lot of fun, and that will be something new this year, so we're excited for that. In progress, RTI, our local systems of support. One of the first things that we've asked our teachers to do with the RTI work this year is to align their curriculum. And so grade level content teachers are identifying essential standards, and 90% of our teachers have identified their essential standards, and now what they're doing is taking that first essential standard for next year and designing a unit of instruction, common assessments, and common learning targets. And so that's really exciting to see that work. That's all I have.
Mark, on your, the day that you're talking about for the 5th graders next week, do we also include inviting from the Christian school to Arthur Academy to any kids that are homeschooled too, or is it just at the moment our one actual building?
We have included Arthur Academy, and they will be there. We haven't reached out to homeschool families or the Christian school, but we can include them.
I just know that first day is a rough one for everybody, so it's kind of nice if you're with everybody else going in on that first day.
Yeah, and what's really neat about the fly up, so we're having ambassadors. So some of our 7th grade students will be our ambassadors, and we will partner them with a 5th grade classroom, and they will introduce themselves to those kids and then be kind of their like line leaders, taking them from different rotation of different classrooms to classrooms. And those kids will also be what we call our web kids on that first day of school next year. That will be introducing the 5th graders to the school and meeting them there on that first day.
Yeah.
And actually, at one Go.
Thank you. All right. How are you today?
Doing well. Doing well, happy to be here. I am Ron Hernley, principal at Plymouth High School, and the countdown is on, and we're feeling it every day. I will start by saying we had an excellent PEP assembly that was around drug abuse and specifically fentanyl use and what fentanyl can do. It is the day and age to embrace teaching and talking about it. I honestly had an opportunity to push this off over the summer and pick it up in the fall, and I'm glad we did because kids need to be a part of this discussion ASAP. We did a handful of activities that had relay races, and it was a fun time, but the kids were absolutely engaged, asked great questions, and I was proud of how much they portrayed themselves as the topic mattered to them. So it was a really good opportunity. Get your notes here. We have been embracing restorative justice and conscious discipline at our school that gets away from the old rewards and punishments and removal of kids to safety, communication, and relationships. It not only keeps kids in school instead of suspending them, but it really engages them to own their behavior and fill out problem-solving sheets and talk further about it. I was a part of an absolutely wonderful experience with 2 other teachers and a young man 2 nights ago. We stayed almost 2 hours. This young gentleman he struggles. And it was the first time that I've authentically experienced him thanking us when we were done. He was so grateful for the opportunity to work through some issues and see through a different lens. And it just is an example of what we can do if we change our mindset about helping change behaviors instead of just coming from a consequential, reactive position. I would like to talk about what I hope to have as a percentage of my graduating seniors, but I don't want to throw it out there. I have a very hopeful higher number. I will say that I'm not 100% certain of what those numbers have been in the last few years, or I would have been feeling a little bit more comfortable possibly by throwing out my hope. But we're really having a hard push for our seniors. They're really stepping up to the plate. A lot of good work going on. We're offering Saturday homework sessions to finish out the year, and communications with home, et cetera. So we've got a great group of seniors, and it'll be exciting at graduation time. And then finally, we are hopeful. We have come. I don't recall, to be honest with you, if I've sat here in front of you and talked about our mascot. I think it's been secondhand, and I've shared it with some people, but we had a vote a while back to pick a mascot, and we allowed the kiddos to do this, and we are officially the Plymouth Panthers. And so we currently have a couple students who are working on a drawing to choose for that mascot and she understands that drawing is going to last long after she and I are there. And so the importance of it is she's very proud of having her opportunity to do that. So we look forward to soon having some signs out, some Panther gear on folks, et cetera. So look forward to the end of the year. It's going to fly. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Katie Wagner, Principal, St. Helens High School. I want to start off with some celebrations at St. Helens High School. We placed second in the state in both wind ensemble and choir. So we were very excited about our performances there. And our jazz band just brought home the state championships. So our music programs have done an amazing job. We also brought home the trophy from Scappoose in that we are the league champions in softball. So we were there to see the transfer of that trophy, which we are very excited about. And this weekend, we are sending 17 of our track athletes to the state competition. So it's an incredible showing for our high school. So very excited. We are preparing for graduation coming up in just 2 weeks. And I know all of the seniors are very excited about this. The graduation timeline is on our website. So if anyone would like to see what all of the different events are or get some additional information, it is posted on the website. Some of the events that we are planning include our academic awards assembly that will be happening during the school day. We will continue with our walk through the elementary schools in our caps and gowns. And have our barbecue and then also a senior sunset event. So seniors can go out to the stadium at sunset. So graduation is Friday, June 9th. We understand there were concerns about parking due to construction. So we do have plans to have a shuttle going from and to and from McBride Elementary School between 5:30 and 7 to make sure we can get everyone into the stadiums for graduation. And then also return after the graduation ceremonies. So a couple of things that we are excited about working at St. Helens High School with our staff. We developed a Tier 1 behavior team of administrators and classified staff and teaching staff to develop what we are going to roll out next year as our Lion Code. So we have connected these to our maxims of courage, dedication, and preparedness. And just as we have been doing with our essential standards in our classrooms, we've identified essential standards for behavior. And so those 6 areas may include things like cell phones and tardies and 10-10, which is no one's out of the classroom the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes, right? So we've set up different behaviors that are expected that will be modeled by all of our staff, from our instructional assistants to our custodians, to our campus monitors, to our teachers, to our cafeteria workers, to administrators. So making sure that we're all in alignment. So we're really excited about that work moving forward. That team will also be providing professional development to our staff on de-escalation strategies for behaviors that may come up, and also identifying primary behaviors and how do we respond using our restorative practices that we've been learning. So we're hoping for a really strong start to the school year by getting this foundational work done now. Also along those lines with RTI and AVID, we looked at some of the preliminary work on our future district strategic plan and also our school-wide maxims to look at how we can make in our enrichment period for next year really strong and aligned. There's a lot of desire to make sure that we have a strong college and career exploration program, that we're also making sure that students are receiving the social emotional skills that they need to be successful in a 21st century world. And so some of the activities that we would be including in that are focused on intervention, so identifying students that may not be meeting those essential standards in both will and in skill. So those that may be struggling with motivation or apathy are very different than those students who may be struggling academically. So making sure that we're meeting the needs of all of our students and where they're at. So we're working collaboratively with our staff and also our ESD and ODE to identify some tools and curriculum that will support that work. So that would include college management and exploration. And some of the essential questions that that period will be focusing on are things like, how can we utilize our strengths to navigate challenges? How can we deepen relationships with ourselves and build healthy habits? How can we extend belonging to everyone and everywhere, meeting the needs of our equity work? And then also, how can we build future-ready toolkit to access and pursue opportunities? So we really want to make sure we're living into those maxims, that students are leaving the high school prepared for whatever comes next, and that we are intentional about building those skills in during our school day. So we're really excited about that work moving forward. and that it will all be aligned and focused in AVID and RTI work. So that is my report.
An hour.
On the nose, they're like,
They were good though, they even gave me that 4 extra minutes.
That's right.
All right.
That's extra credit.
Well, according to Melody, geez, how that show.
Yeah, I asked you, did that?
and there go the rest.
All right. All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Have a great year. We only have a little left. Okay, well then we will go on. Where's Danny fitting in? Oh, you're just, okay, all right, just checking in, all right. Okay, well then we'll go on to 6.6, the Children's Institute, and Karen Twain, right, and Callie Thorne Ladd, and Danny. Bring her on. Glad all of them.
Yeah, I'm actually just doing an introduction. Lee and I are very minor in this, and these are really.
Yeah, pull up everybody.
All right. Well, my name is Karen Twain. I'm the Director of Programs at Children's Institute. We're an organization that focuses on policy for young children and families. And we have a grant of which you are the recipient called Early School Success. So we not only give you money, which is great, but we also give lots of support and professional development for your youngest learners. So you're going to hear more about that here in the presentation, but I wanted to introduce our CEO, Callie Thorne Ladd, who's here tonight with us, and had the privilege, as I did, of having dinner with several of your staff this evening. It was really nice. Erin Lolich is she's in charge, she's a specialist around continuous improvement. And she's really the lead on this project in St. Helens. And Erin's the best of the best, is what I tell people. So you guys are very lucky to have her in the mix. And what I really want to say before they do their presentation is that we are so appreciative of this partnership. Many districts applied for this. We made our decision who would receive the support based on a number of things, including your leadership, which starts, of course, with Superintendent Stockwell, who has been great, as well as Danny and Lisa Tyler have been right there. All your principals, your teachers are just amazing. So we're in Lincoln County, we're here, we're in Forest Grove, we're in Beaverton. Those are the main recipients of the grant. And then we also do an early learning academy where we have touch points with many districts in the state. The idea is to raise this really good work that we're doing to a policy level, not only in the state, but honestly, you'll probably hear your name nationally over the next few years. So I'm very excited about the work, and particularly our partnership, which has been extremely positive in the school district. So we want to thank you for that time, not only tonight, but just in general. It's been a really great experience, I think, for everybody, but I'll let your staff members speak to that. But thank you again. That's bottom line for us. So Kalia and I will step aside unless you have anything you want to, you bet.
Well, I spent the day, I also sit on the Early Learning Council for the state of Oregon, and we spent the day revising our strategic plan for early childhood for Oregon. And one of the key objectives is to integrate and align systems for children. And so the work that you do and that you're doing, I think, in partnership with us, but you're doing on your own, is aligning early learning systems with the K-12 system, which is sort of the promising practice and what we are looking for the future of Oregon schools. And so it really is, it becomes an exemplar of what is possible when districts are intentional in understanding the importance of early childhood in the trajectory of a child. So I just wanted to lift that up because it was really salient today. And I thought immediately of our ESS sites, our early school success sites, and that we do have places in Oregon that are doing this work every day. and are proving that it makes a difference. So thank you for that.
So I'll let Erin do the other introductions and these ladies take over and show you other stuff.
I think our partners probably need no introduction, but this is Danny Boylan and Teresa Gore, who teaches kindergarten at Lewis and Clark, and both have been incredible partners in this work and are here tonight to speak to you as the local experts on this work. So before I turn it over to your local experts, I'll just share a little bit with you all about our work. First of all, good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Stockwell, and thank you for making time and space in the agenda tonight so that we can share a little bit with you about
Might be too far away from the computer.
She can't.
I think sometimes when people point it and click, Christy just hits the button whether it's
They're really cool,
Wow.
Christy.
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep going while we queue back up, if that's all right. I wanted to share a little bit about what we know about the critical nature of early learning. We know quite a bit now. We'll share just a little tidbit of what the research is telling us about early learning, and then talk a little bit about the partnership that we've built with your district over the past year and a half, and the amazing work, thank you, that's happening at Columbia City and at Lewis and Clark and McBride. Your teachers and, as Karen shared, your principals have been doing really incredible work, and we want to continue that work with you. We want to scale it up to other grades in elementary over time, and eventually we'd love to have your district be a learning lab so that folks from around the state and around the country can come look at the work that you're doing here. That's a little bit about what we're up to tonight. First, just a little bit more about Children's Institute. So we are a social enterprise, and we focus on early learning research, practice, policy, and advocacy. And to do the research and the policy and the advocacy well, we think it's really important that we work alongside our schools and learn with you and from you. So that's part of what early school success is about, is getting to learn with you and then figuring out what from that should then go to the state level and become a policy or become a practice that's spread across the state and across the nation. So Karen mentioned that we had a competitive process when you applied for this grant 3 years ago, and you were one of 3 districts that were selected across the state. And we selected you because you've made a long-term investment in early learning, and that's something special and unique about St. Helens. We also selected you because you have a history of very talented early learning coordinators, first Martine and now Danny. You also have a commitment to equity that we share and is really important to us in this work. And then your leadership, Superintendent Stockwell and your principals and Lisa have been really helpful in this work. And then you've also made a commitment to aligning the work from preschool into the early grades. And we know that that is the part that really matters in long-term gains. If we want the gains to continue into high school and beyond, you have to have that alignment there. So that's the major focus of our work, and we see that happening here. On a personal note, I just want to share that working with your teaching team has just been, it's a delight. It's a delight to come out here and to see the innovation that your teachers bring and the energy they bring after long days of teaching. They're really in the work, and I've visited a lot of schools across Oregon, and you have something really special here. So hope you feel really proud of that. Okay, so here's just a little tidbit of what we know about current brain research. We know that the brain grows so fast and so much between the years of 0 to 9. And in Oregon, school's not required until age 6. So there's a little bit of a gap there in what we expect and what we know about brain research. And so the The investments that you're making for children birth to 5 in St. Helens are really changing kids' brains and, hence their lives. So what you're doing, the investments that you've made are innovative and they're really impactful. I mentioned that the alignment piece makes a really big difference, and here's why. We know that when we co-locate preschools and elementaries on the same campus or in the same building, it just makes it easier for educators to communicate with each other and for families to know educators and build the relationships that are needed in order to foster children's growth. And when kids know what to expect, that frees up their working memory. So I was thinking about how each time I come to St. Helens, I know my way around a little bit better, and it means that I don't have to pay so much attention to Google Maps and where I'm turning. I can focus more on the meeting that's about to happen or the classroom I get to visit. And it's the same thing with kids and families, right? If they know the building and they don't have to think about how do I get to the bathroom or where's the gym or how do I get to the cafeteria, that frees up working memory, and that allows that space in their brains to tackle higher level cognitive skills and to focus more on academics and higher level social emotional learning. And it's the same for adults too, right? If families know the building, they know the teachers, and that stays consistent from the early grades into early elementary, it just makes things that much smoother and allows families to focus on the things that really matter. So that's a little bit about alignment. The next piece is just how do board members support this work? These are things that you, I think, already know, you're already doing. So I just want to reinforce the good work that you're doing and encourage you to keep it up. The more that you can make early learning visible and support it, it's very, very helpful for schools and for your whole community. The more it can be prioritized in budget meetings, in your strategic plan, then it sends a message to the community that this is a priority. Visiting classrooms is a great way to show your support for early learning, and it's just so much fun to spend a little bit of time in an early learning classroom in St. Helens. It can just turn your whole day around. And you can just continue to message that that the early investment really pays off. That if you think about it like compounding interest, the more we invest early in children's lives, the less we need to intervene later, which we know is really expensive in terms of money, but it's also really expensive in terms of the impact that it has on kids and families if they need that intervention later. So as much as possible, we want to front load the investment to the early years. So I know you're doing these things. Thank you for your commitment to your community. And I just invite you to think about new ways that you can share that message across your community and champion early learning. So thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to Danny.
So before we go on to that slide, one of the other ways that you guys can help us is we have been working together to make our early learning vision, and we've got a very rough draft that we put together of kind of our vision of what we want to see grow and develop in early learning. And so I brought a copy for it for each of you. And if you guys, when you have spare time, want to look it over and email me any suggestions you have, anything that you think we should change or that you think we should focus on differently, we would love to have the board's kind of opinions and thoughts of where we should go with early learning in our district. So we'll pass those out when we're done. But the Children's Institute, through their grant, has helped us with so many things, but a couple of the things that we're going to talk about today is that we have a group of teachers that meet monthly, and they come up with different change ideas that they want to take back to their classrooms and try to see if we can make a difference in their rooms. And then the goal is that next year those teachers are going to take it to their grade levels and have everybody in their grade level trying it, so we can get even more data to see how we can strengthen our program and make it grow even more. We have preschool people on the team, we have kindergarten, we have first grade, and we have second grade. So we're trying to make it so that all the different early learning grades are represented, and we have people from each of the schools. So Teresa is here and she's been part of the team for both years. And so she's going to show us some of the change ideas that she has been part of and what the kids have been doing in her classroom throughout this. We're also going to show kind of the difference in the kindergarten environment, because the last 2 years, the Jones Institute has paid for us to put more play-based furniture into our kindergarten rooms at Columbia City, and Lewis and Clark got it this year, and McBride will get it next year, so that we could start introducing play back into the rooms, and instead of having giant large tables, having smaller ones that are more inviting for kids to play at, and having those kind of materials for them to play with a purpose and not just sit and play because it's the last 30 minutes of the day and they need something to do, but more of these are how we can meet benchmarks through play instead of sitting and writing in worksheets. They've also helped us with early learning professional development that I'll show in a slide in a few minutes, as well as our kindergarten transition events. So we will have Teresa talk about the change ideas now.
So we decided for our change idea, after empathy and reviews and talking to different people, it was making children feel more comfortable and more engaged. And so what we decided to do is something called Loose Parts. It's not its own project. It's essentially using loose parts in the classroom to show learning. And when we first did it, we decided we would do it with math. And so here is different ways where they're counting and sorting and incorporating it in their learning by showing me what 6 means to them. We have 6 cotton balls, 6 cubes, and 6 sequins. And then as we went on, we did more and more with just math, and after seeing the engagement, which was almost 100% at this point, regardless of level, regardless of capabilities, speech, because they could model and show what their thinking was and explain it with more vocabulary and interest by showing their math concepts in a different way that they could all engage. So after we did that, we started using it for story building. So the kids all came up with ideas. These are ones that they decided what they're going to write a story about, and then they built the story in their eyes with the loose parts. And the one down in the middle that looks like, I don't know, it's the next one. But I had kids who only have 1 to 2 words, sentences, were able to create a whole unicorn with a magic wand and explain that to me, which if you just gave them a piece of paper and something else, they wouldn't be able to do it. But 100% engagement, they're excited about doing this. They do it for a purpose. And so we've been expanding when we use loose parts in the classroom. So after deciding as a change idea to do just loose parts with math, I started using it more with stories, and so there's that's the unicorn, the little metal one. So she bent into a unicorn and the magic wand, and normally, she wouldn't use any words, but they're very creative, and their stories are much more detailed, and they explain beginning, middle, and end, and they're able to talk about their concepts. They can do it with partners. So they can build with each other on their stories, and it's a very good pairing, and like I said, the engagement's just amazing. We also moved it into science, and besides the loose parts, we also do Creation Station, where they use their parts to create and show more engagement, and so they plan ahead and write down what they want to use. They test it out. These are leprechaun traps, and then they see if it'll work, and so they practice, and then they modify it, and then they write about their experience with it. There's some more of the science ones. This is the classroom before. It was just square desks and baskets, Play-Doh. Afterwards, the Children's Institute gave us a lot more areas. So in the back, there's like the whole shelving, which has all the a bunch of loose parts and everything else on it, so it's easy. We have the brighter, nice blue coloring. the light table, which they love to use for math and science and anything, even spelling with letters on the light table. And then there's a science sensory in the middle of the littler tables. You can't tell they're little, but those ones all the way at the end and after are actually smaller tables, so they can sit on the floor, they can sit on a pillow. It's more where kids who can't always work with a lot of people can choose smaller areas to work as well.
As far as our professional development, in addition to our monthly professional development, we were able to use the funds and send 6 of our staff to the NACCE conference in DC in November, where we learned a lot about the play-based learning and diversity. And then recently we were able to send 12 kindergarten staff, which were all the kindergarten teachers in our district and their instructional assistants, got to go as well to an early learning conference in Bend, where they learned about play, social emotional learning, and communication. And I can tell you that the instructional assistants came back so excited because most of them have never been able to go to a conference before, being kind of those classified staff in the district. And it's usually kind of those PDs that are like that are for the licensed teachers. And so they were very excited and came back with so many ideas, and just really grateful that they got this opportunity to be part of it. And then our kindergarten transition events, they help pay for all of our Ready Freddy events that we have done throughout the season, as well as we're having our last family event, which is our family barbecue on the 31st at 5:30 at McBride, that you guys are welcome to come to. We have also invited Scappoose. Kindergarten families are coming as well. So St. Helens and Scappoose are doing it jointly for all of our incoming kinders to be together and have a barbecue and movie night. So we'll have a movie set up in the gym because it won't quite be dark enough at 5:30. So we're going to turn off the gym lights and have a movie on the screen in there for them after our barbecue. But we also found out today that we had some extra money left over in our budget that didn't get spent. And so they are going to help fund Kinder Camp that was potentially not going to happen this year, because they are not sure that we're going to get grant money for that. This year doesn't look like. And so we're able to use the remainder of our money to be able to have a Kinder Camp this year that we wouldn't have been able to. So we are extremely grateful to be able to carry on that tradition. Yeah, we're going to do it August 7th through the 11th. Yep. And so that is what we have. Do you guys have any questions that we'd like to ask about our grant and our partnership? I know.
I just want to say thank you. I'm very excited about the direction it's going. We've gone a long ways away from these learning and alignments, the comfort and familiarity that allows students to be safe, able to learn, able to let go of whatever else is outside of their just experience for them.
Other times we try to build our house from the roof of the church down. Big new program in the high school, and we're going to talk this about. You're doing the work right.
Kind of coincidental, it's just before the meeting, I just, in my home childcare, I have a new preschooler that just started like 2 weeks ago. He didn't even say a word for the first 4 days, wasn't going to eat any food and everything else, right? And I have another one who just is now finishing preschool and will be in a kindergarten next year, and talks your brains out, and you can't stop her, and she knows everything, okay, right? And I didn't even think about it. My husband looked and he said, I remember when that one right there was like this one year ago, and forgot all about it. I forgot she was quiet, because she hasn't been quiet for a long time. And she is so smart, and what a difference. And at the same time, I have 4 first graders who didn't get that chance to do preschool because of COVID. And I would tell you that my preschooler is almost done with my first graders. And yeah, so what a difference by not having that time period. So I'm spending this summer, we're going to do preschool things with the first graders to catch them back up at the preschooler, so they'll be ready for next year. Anyways, but yeah, so definitely a valuable period of time.
part of our vision statement was even getting art and toddler programs more involved in the things that they're doing over at the elementary school, so that those families that are going to be our families at the elementaries are getting involved at a younger age, so that they can start seeing what they're going to be doing in school and familiar with the buildings as well.
I'd also like to say, as Black as this is, I really appreciate you offering sketches to our district. Share.
We do have quite a few kids that are Scout Boost kids. They go into the Scout Boost school district, since they just this year, mid-year, got school promise, so we have a bunch, and so we like for them to be able to see their new friends, but also say goodbye to kind of their old friends at the same time. So a good transition.
I have an idea for movie night that I've always wanted to do. I'm gonna say it now because I'll forget.
Okay.
So, I don't remember where I saw it, but cardboard boxes and coloring and making cars out of cardboard boxes so they do
Driving.
Yeah, and I think, I just have a hunch, that might be a really good way to contain them. So they're not running all over the place, if they each had a box, they threw wheels on it, put big cars and they set in those boxes.
I'm good. 6 days to make about 70 cardboard boxes.
Oh,
Got
to
it.
make their own.
Dog Rennell has boxes.
He obviously doesn't know that boxes can move too, right?
It's very open anyway.
I got
I can
excited.
endorse this. I did that with my kids, and they, like, even afterwards, that was their hangout spot. Like cats, there's a box, and we're gonna hang out right inside it, so, long-term loss.
I will say containment is good. I was at the zoo yesterday and there were like 500 like preschools and kindergarten classes all there. And like I had to like watch where I was stepping because if I stepped wrong, I was gonna drop right through a kid. So like containment might be necessary.
Take that into consideration.
Thank you so much for really good work you are all doing. Supporting us. I'm excited for the future. Do we want to get a picture?
Maybe if you all just kind of stand there, Melody, just speak to her. Other than we can get everything. Act like we like them.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Congratulations on your great
Right, everybody's second.
I know.
Good job.
Hey. No.
Get in there.
Don't hide behind that.
No, we're both hidden. We're all hidden. We're doing good.
As much as we love board meetings, we're gonna head out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be well received.
We would give you credit hours if you.
I got plenty of those.
They're not getting that civics
You
project.
notice that I don't let any of them leave.
I think we're showing our value, actually. Each time one of these groups presents, poof. Another one takes. Like last man standing.
Don't let that hurt feelings.
Amelia, do we want to like try and convince Houston to let this count as our public?
That'd be nice, because I haven't done my other
I
one.
haven't had a chance to, no.
I think you need to have that discussion.
We tried to convince them at the beginning of the semester.
It's a really easy, you can watch online, just send one in.
That's what I did for my mom.
All right, well, then I guess.
Have a good night.
Bye, Dan.
It's like, oh.
All right, well, so we'll go on to 6.7, students.
Wow.
Sorry about that, sweetheart. Student representatives to the board. And I
Okay.
turn it over to Colton, go for it, honey.
Okay, so we have a student who is interested in this position. She's currently in the process of filling out the form. she had a few questions about it for me. I actually know her personally. Am I allowed to name names? No?
It's not yet.
Probably not yet, okay, but I've been on the robotics team with her for the last 2 years. She is currently the robotics co-captain.
You're giving me.
Identifiers that we really don't want.
You're doing good, you're doing good, keep going.
Okay.
In general, good
So,
candidates.
I trust her, and I'm going to set up a time to meet with her to discuss this position.
Sounds good.
We only have one candidate.
Yes, unfortunately, but she is a candidate that I trust.
We're going to have one. Continue to build this up.
Did you give her your personal number so she can call me during your next session?
No, but no. But we have contact information.
I was trying to remember, dude, when are we gonna try to say who that person is? Will we get before this month? Just by September? Okay. No, we could keep them busy for July, I'm sure.
I think we still have more work to do on
Yeah.
formalizing the process and.
We definitely do, yes.
You can give us your advice on that. All right. Is that everything, Coleman?
I believe so, unless you have any questions.
Thank you. All right, well, then we're gonna go to 6.8. This is policy updates, final reading. Will be for 6.8.1, which is the EHB cybersecurity. 6.8.2, GCBDF/EDBF paid family medical leave insurance. 6.8.3, IGBHD program exemptions. 6.8.4, JGE expulsion, and 6.8.5, KL public complaints. What do you want to do?
If I can recall correctly, there was really one that was a question, unless there's other questions for the other policies, and that was the IGBHD program exemption. So I made some modifications to the recommended one to try to capture what was discussed, but that's absolutely not, final. It's something that I think the board needs to talk a little bit about, and then decide if we want to move forward or table that one in particular for more work and move forward with the others, or however you do it best.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between the last one, not a whole lot, but a little, and all the discussion on district culture in general.
Would you remind me though, reading all this, what we talked about before, do we, even though for all the different reasons they could, be exempt from something, do we have them always do something to replace it with instead? Whether it's through family or homeschool or anything?
I would say probably. I know that that's part of the policy, but I would imagine that oftentimes somebody exempts themselves, they go to a designator, for example, for state testing, they go to the library and work on other homework that they have. My guess is they probably are assigned an alternative in every situation that may in some cases.
I guess I would have a policy. We don't. So if we're gonna include it, we should build some conversation about how to make sure that even an alternative activity of going to the library and work on my homework is an alternative educational activity. So I would say it's inside of that. If you have a policy that says that you need to do this, follow
Yeah, for the most part, and we've included the ORS in here, it's the OAR, it's essentially what the policy states, like the policies include the OAR in the
I guess for me, just the only thing I just want to make sure, so we don't have kids that use the policy then just
get out of things, that's all, or get parents to agree to allow them to do that.
I think it's their right to do so, and it's our job to ensure the alternative options available and request it at the time. So I see that as both. Either the students, this is their parent, or the parent says this is absolutely not what I want the student to be doing, I'll support that. What I also want though is, what is your alternative? How do you go alongside that? You don't just say this isn't something I want to do because I don't want to do it. It's a reason, I'll accept whatever that reason is. And here's what I'm going to do to make up for that time or make up for that space.
How hard is that to do? Katie and any of that, an answer for that? Because that'd be hard to keep up with too on your part, so that's why it's just.
Katie, if you'd like that.
No, it is. It's like things even with my daycare to keep up with it. It's like, I want to do it this way, but now I've got to tell you what I want to do too. So yes, and find the time to do that.
I think it's doable. It's a challenge when people opt out of prescribed programs, but we follow policy, respect families' wishes.
I mean, it's a fairly permissive concept. It's not restrictive. It's not saying you have to produce a equivalence or commensurate type of activity. It merely says alternative educational program or art activity must be included. So I think that gives a lot of grace, gives a lot of freedom and capacity for our educators to make a decision on those things. I'm perfectly fine with empowering that side of the equation. I just really think it's important for the moral side of the equation. And we yield to our educators to ensure that they're providing grace.
Any other questions or anything else on any of the other policies or anything else on this part? All right. Well, then let's go on to 6.9, which is the St. Helens School District 502 business report. And we'll turn it over to Jen.
Sure, just a couple of requests. The board went through a similar process. I think we want to say 2016, 17 regarding the district's corporate credit card program. Certain circumstances, however, with bank lending require an additional step. Our current credit card program has a $100,000 limit. And we ran into it a few times, specifically in the spring. A lot of great professional development opportunities, a lot of grant initiated work for travel. Unfortunately, most of those vendors will only take credit card payments. You're spending 24 staff to stay in a hotel for a few nights. That can very quickly take out, it takes up the limit, as well as there's a shift not only in consumer habits, but also vendor habits. I'm finding, especially after COVID, issuing credit to districts via purchase on account terms. We just have a lot of vendors that just don't do that anymore. And so for this reason, we're approaching the board to request to increase our credit card program. The first resolution, number 14, is required from the bank because when we surpass the $100,000 limit, we're in a different level of underwriting, and the school district doesn't have organizing documents as confirmed with the state archivist. So this resolution is specifically number 14, is the one that Bank of the West has asked, which is in a lot of ways reaffirming what you already do in July during the organizational meeting, and naming the custodian of funds and designating spot in IS. District reps who conduct business on behalf of the district, but specifically this resolution drills it in a little bit more. It's the board authorizing us to procure a loan of the West, and this term is just expanding that credit card program. That's the first, and then the second is specifically, this is the resolution you've approved before. We went from a $75,000 limit to a $100,000 limit a few years ago, but this is now taking us up to $200,000, and that's the maximum corporate credit card program that Bank of the West offers. So, and really, it's the same level of underwriting for $101,000 to $200,000. So that at least is what these two resolutions are asking the board to consider.
What is our value of our individual cardholders max limit at?
That's divvied up based off of a formula I use. I usually look at the program's annual budget and past activity. And then throughout the year, credit card limit holders can ask for either a temporary increase through the next cycle, or they can ask for a permanent increase if like their specific like program or like the department's activity warrants that and it's corroborable. So yeah, so like I think our program, I probably want to say like our largest card holder individually is probably Jared or Ed, but like the high school has 6 different cards and their limit combined is bigger than like Jared's. We tend to, especially this spring, we were parsing out limit based off of need, and I had a running list, and one person would enter a receipt, and we would pay that off, and then the next person could go. It was quite the balancing act probably the last 10 weeks. So just with year-end spend down, and especially biennial grant budgets. Wrapping up, we hope that one thing, kind of referring to that individual consumer habit, is we are transitioning to use Amazon's direct billing option. And so that won't require the use of just credit cards anymore. And I would probably say they are probably one of the largest vendors we currently use a credit card with. So that will also be what we need.
Are we getting a lot of credit card fees?
Credit card fees. We pay $30 per card per year.
And how do we pay creditors?
We don't.
Seems are always a struggle at times.
Yeah, so prior to me working for the school district, the schools actually had an audit finding because they were paying the credit card without getting the receipts from cardholders. So that practice has been put to an end. So we haven't paid interest because of like a late payment or anything like that. There might be some people here who know that you get the call the day before the credit card's due if we're really waiting for something, but our cardholders do sign agreements and are very good about getting most receipts in within 2 weeks. So there's always the anomaly, especially when we're traveling and the hotel didn't send us a receipt. So it's super fun to track them. It happens.
See much of a local impact on utilization of the Amazon account versus the credit cards for local purchases or supporting local community.
I think that the increased use of Amazon has increased exponentially in the last 5 years. So.
Would this enable us to do more supporting of the local economy for those things, or is there such a cost difference between Amazon and
Product availability.
Well, I know that, but in general, it's a lot more convenient to go down to a local space, get whatever resources you may need for your products, or whatever the case is, you go back on site, so that move back into the community.
Sure.
And potentially a little bit more of an expense. So I'm just wondering if this would help with that or not, because with the direct billing, I'm not sitting there waiting for somebody else to basically help me with it.
So just to clarify, are you asking if increasing the credit card limit will correlate to doing more purchasing within the local community at local businesses?
You would provide an opportunity for that.
Yes, and I think I think there have just been philosophical discussions among administrators and secretaries about the increased use of Amazon.
There's a lot of it, it's just, we need a private.
Okay. If Amazon's the only place you can get it, that's a different conversation than if you can get it locally. Sure, that's the conversation.
Plus with Amazon, we also run into issues such as shipping timelines and versus with just running to the store, it's right down the road, you can send one of your students or one of your other staff members to quickly go grab something in case something didn't happen, or like something didn't ship in time and you just need to run to Walmart or something and quickly grab it.
All right.
Yes, that concludes my report. Great, we'll go to 6.10, superintendent reports.
Yeah, I just have a couple items. The first is to thank our community for once again supporting our efforts to modernize our facilities. I think it's pretty unprecedented to have 3 bonds pass within the course of 6 years. I think that speaks to the support that we have as far as the work that we're doing. We can always improve, and that's what we should be doing. But this additional bond with the grant money from the state is going to go a long ways to finishing out the high school the way we want it to finish. And to the next couple parts, as evident by the request about the softball field, we know that's something that people are excited about and want to see. So we've had conversation already with Hoffman and with our team about getting that fast track. I'm meeting Friday with the head baseball coach. I'll be meeting with the head softball coach after that. They had a softball game yesterday and took a difficult loss in the first round of the state playoffs. I didn't want to reach out to her until after the state playoffs were done. So I'll reach out to her for the week. What I'd like to do is have a conversation with their head coaches, personally walk the field, kind of get their dreams and visions, kind of share some of the thoughts that we've had and some of the possibilities. And I want to do that to just avoid a lot of the distractions that we're hearing, so I can know exactly what they feel they need, and then we'll start gathering some community input from there. So I'm excited for moving that forward. The next item that I wanted to touch on is the state budget. Right now, it's at $9.9 billion, which will make it very tight for us. It does put us in a reduction of staffing. At this point, it appears we can manage that through attrition, so we won't be sending folks away. However, yesterday we heard that legislature has promised that they're going to get to $10.2 billion, which gets us in a much better position to continue a number of the programs that we're reducing. So we're trying to figure out how best to manage that. The problem that we have is none of the budgetary measures or laws can be passed without a full legislature. And so I understand the strategy and the process. What may happen is if there isn't a quorum by, I believe it's the June 16th, is that the date? Right in the middle of June. If there isn't a vote, then all the previous bills go away. And then hopefully there would be a summer session, special session where budget items would be taken care of. The state does have a stopgap measure. It's not like the federal government where things stop. We would continue on at $9.3 billion, which would be a significant challenge. I'm hopeful that things will be taken care of. I heard that the Republican Party said that they would come back the day before to take care of the important matters such as funding education. So that felt better, but there's always a possibility that we may not have a budget going into the summer. And that hopefully there'll be some wise choices by folks up in the legislature to take care of at least education. Wanted to give that update. We discussed a couple board meetings back about beginning and end times for schools. And I know that there was a number of discussions about the times, whether they were good start times or not. At that meeting, I said I would try to pull together a team, bring the team back. There just isn't enough time. And I just didn't have time to pull them back in to review that. I was left after that meeting feeling like the discussion was we can move forward with those times and do some surveying and polling next year and kind of revisit it. So
That's not how I felt.
but that may not be how Ms. Smith felt, but that's what I was left with. So I had to bring that up now for discussion and some direction.
Did you have a time that you're making concrete?
I thought I did that.
The high school is 7:45.
Yeah.
Black for elementary.
And then, yeah, 9
for the middle school, yeah.
We're in the middle of our budget season. I would consider to look at our budget and consider our buses to accommodate the time.
Oregon rated us as a lead of 8 months. So.
So is it more that we just can't get buses, or because last time we were told it was just the cost of adding a bus?
No, it's both.
Yeah.
So,
I believe both were mentioned last week. I believe both were mentioned, the time it took to get the buses and the cost of the buses.
I had asked if, I'm sorry, I thought it would have been using the proposed time for 1 year while we gathered more information for 24, 25, and that's when I asked if the board would be opposed to potentially increasing the contract and expanding the fleet based off of community feedback.
I wouldn't sit on it for, like, adjusting lines or to keep moving that back for the time is crazy to me. Like, we're gonna get a lot of parent feedback. We haven't even reached out to parents at all yet. So saying it's concrete right now, I feel like that's pretty wild, actually.
So with that 8-month timeline, I think we should solidify at least one of the plans that we had laid out a couple meetings ago and get on expanding the fleet as soon as possible, because the lack of busing has been an apparent problem in our district for the last several years. And I said a couple meetings ago, I remember when I was in middle school, my bus would show up at 4 o'clock, almost an hour after school got out, and I would not get home often until 4:45, 5 o'clock. Sometimes it was actually faster to just walk home, and I live all the way across town. For those middle schoolers, for those elementary schoolers who maybe we don't want walking home or don't have a safe way to walk home, I think expanding the fleet would be the best option for their safety.
I feel like our timeframes were designed to, all things being equal, we don't have the ability to fix it quickly. This was how we resolve that. Is that correct? So in general, we're going into the budget season, we talk about these things. We have a problem now. Our problem is that we can't get buses on time because of lack of buses packing and schedules. So for 1 year, there just wasn't a big way on this. My thing was, we need to do this, we see a trial next year, and we need to be talking to parents, we need to be discussing these things, so that having a better sense on it. Because I think that the work being put together with all the time and effort, and the work for all those things. I think it's important to have the parents have a conversation, right, to know those things. So without having some sort of, so what we're we're doing right now, it's just like when we do boundaries. I mean, we try to do all of that conversation, you know, we really don't know what's gonna happen until really it's about.
Trying to budget uncertainty to say we're gonna expand the bus fleet seems counterproductive if we could do it by adjusting our schedule. I think we've managed to reduce wait times by adjusting the schedule. So I don't need to see what the question is. I think we just look at the schedule that we created, if it's gonna reduce the wait times for the kids and get people ready to roll and if we have, then that's improvement. Might not be my favorite schedule, just something that works.
What's your latest time for middle and middle school at that time? Pushing drop off time by another half an hour, which is already so late. Like, you're not gonna have your dinner at all.
Not to mention that directly conflicts with after school sports, which in the spring especially, you have a lot of the middle schoolers who are brought over to the high school for their spring workouts, specifically football.
What are your elementary space on one?
So the schedule is fairly common. It's not an uncommon schedule.
We're gonna have many that are yelling at the start time for 10 minutes and trying to get out of the morning, but it's really hard. And our tardies show that, so. I don't. Our ending time balances. Right where it should be, and we have gone below it many times. I would advocate for a change.
We have an 8-month lead time to get to that change, so what do we do with that?
We don't make the decision right now.
So part of it, if you can recall,
We have a little bit more time even with our budget.
one reason why we made these changes was trying to recapture some more time for our elementary teachers to prepare and have planning in the afternoon. So that was part of the shift as well. So there's a number of reasons. It hasn't been just solely because we're trying to shift and get kids out of the middle school without sitting for 45 minutes. It was also to provide additional time for teachers at the elementary level.
Which we had said was end and go through the calendar, which we could be more strategic with those and not do the half days or the middle of the day.
That would be a board discussion.
So can we pull up the times that we discussed? So that way we have representation.
So I do have one question. When we looked at all this, I don't care whether it's somebody's earlier or later, have we ever actually, let's say, put together a graph of how many middle schoolers and high schoolers and elementary are even on a given route?
Yeah,
They couldn't, I know, but they couldn't be in a bus together.
The second part.
Well, like, for example, my bus that pulls up and I'm only on Gable Road, I'm not like on Deer Island or anything, it's half empty, almost all the time.
Yeah.
So for us to make our middle schoolers go late when maybe they could have been on the bus is the part I'm asking. I mean, I know we'd have to do it. You've got new homes and you've got new people moving in and different things, but I know full well that we probably could put every kid on my bus, not just my part of it. And so I don't know how, maybe we would need extra for out when you're Yankton and Deer Island thing. I'm just wondering if we're going by what could be a full bus when they're not being full bus. Especially when you look at the amount of parents who are dropping off their kids every single day at every building. I just hate to do to the middle schoolers. That's the only issue I have. Their time, I don't think is a good time either. I know they'd all love to sleep in, but I'm more afraid of they won't get up and get on the bus because everybody else already left to go to work and school.
So I believe that's what this organization did for us, is they went through and did a study on buses, bus utilization. So we could determine if we're using our buses fleet. Could you go to the first one? Does the first one have our current times? Can you make it bigger? so I can, what's the middle school again?
320.
320. So that's a 10-minute shift to 3:30 and a 15-minute shift in the morning.
You drop off right now at 8:30 or your kids are tardy. You gotta run through there, but, so, or the parents are dropping off at 8:30. Now they'll be dropping off at 8:45. Even though it's a half an hour.
I guess what I'm just looking at, it's not a significant change.
But it is when you're already dropping off elementary or even high school, and so you're in your car for an hour and a half. You're doing all of those kids. That's crazy.
So is that because they don't want to ride the bus? Because
Because
if you're going here, 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 and here,
You
I
have
would
kids
assume there's a bus that runs in those spaces where
at
maybe.
crazy times. So you have like high schoolers that are being picked up at 6:30 in the morning.
I grew up in the country, so this is not
Well,
a
so did
memory for
I.
me that like.
But
I
my
got
early
before
bus
the
was
morning
at
times.
7:30.
So, I mean, I get that, I guess. What you're talking about is one person doing essentially their own bus run. School.
Happens every day, all the time.
Right.
So my elementary in the winter is waiting at 7:15 in the dark and not staying on Pittsburgh.
And so that's, I guess, a conversation of for the bus schedule and for it, I think it's what you're telling you, but the whole point is to get kids on a bus. So if the conversation is that.
So if they had a high
parents are
schooler
taking-
waiting with them, that would be a lot better.
You're not always gonna have high schoolers here, the kids.
So
But this opportunity to share the bus and
Yeah.
not have a really late.
One of the challenges is that parents do want to drop off their youngster and they're standing around outside because they're locked out of the building. In high school, they just walk in, correct?
At 7:30, you open the doors.
7:30 open door, come in. So they come in and they need to drop off for their. And at the elementaries and the middle school, maybe, just maybe we could have at least gym space or something, so that at least they could be in the morning to drive, if mom drops them off, or dad drops them off, or grandpa. But, there may be a way to, and we don't, the teachers obviously want to be getting prepared and ready for their day. If I were a middle school teacher and I had to do cultural division starting at 7:30 until 8:45, I'd probably be an unhappy school teacher. But, if there was a way that we keep the kids occupied to the normal time that we let them in, that maybe open the larger window, even if it's 15 minutes, between the elementary and middle school, I think I'm sure that there are people that have conflict between high school and middle school, but not everybody is.
there's a possibility of having before school chair and that discussion with Park and Rec. See where they are, it's a matter of staffing. I do know that in the process of applying for a grant to support those types of activities. Christy, can you go back to the topics that are being, do you make that bigger too, so our eyes can see those? So what specific reasons do we have for starting each of our types of schools at the times that we have laid out here? Because I know there's a specific reason. It's good, right? So, okay. Want to center that? Yeah, it's like cut off. Perfect, thank you.
The times per se, like start and end time from like a traveling perspective isn't necessarily needs to be defined. differences between the tranches is what needs to remain constant, because that's why there's not enough time currently between elementary and middle school drop off for elementary kids who drop, and that's why we have middle schoolers who are waiting. And so then so purely logistics, it's just those relationships that matter, because where our students live are fixed constraints, and at least with this analysis, the current contract with a fixed constraint, the actual starting and ending of the school, that's what it's the labor management discussion of working hours for employees. And in the afternoon, specifically, student activities and athletics. How much instructional time secondary students should be missing to travel. Our week is more geographically spread out than it was 2 years ago.
Anybody who has equipment tell them what they're travel.
Yeah, I'm probably not the greatest perspective on this. They start at the same time, they end at the same time. For sports, it was a 4-hour drive one way. So I see why we've got some of the separate components to deal with it. And just, are we having this conversation? Same week. Yeah. And not to say that I've ever advocated for this, I'm just curious. Has there ever been a time when all of the schools started at the same time or aligned some of those things? So either started at the same time or ended so that something was aligned.
It's not the bill that has it.
So if we had more classes, would that assist with that? Yeah.
I heard like the request for parent feedback, and I think like that's where having youth were on it for May 2024. So if this wanted to be something to alleviate the elementary planning time for a year, I think that parent feedback and asking parents to prioritize, it invites more voices to the table to prioritize what AM or PM after school care if you're in elementary, is that your bigger priority? Or if you're the parent of a secondary student, when you think they should or shouldn't start time, like what's important to you and in what order? And then we could use those trends to look at fleet needs to accommodate what worked.
We're in an 8 months away, and that's a 2-year conversation. So I'm a little concerned about how far out that would be. But what do you think we can do something?
I guess the other question is, if you're happy with the current schedule, then I think that's what we're going to stick with. We'll go back to the elementary team and say if they didn't want the schedule that was proposed, and we need to go back to the drawing board. Something happens sometimes.
I'd go for that. Consistency in general would be better than up and down craziness.
Yeah, I'm most concerned with the amount of time that middle school kids are out there.
Especially as we get to the winter seasons. It's really not the outside.
Well, and it's tough because we have to
They're standing out there in the rain with them.
Well, and missing out on the additional things that they need to do in training, and the kids are being kids, we're setting them up for failure by putting them out and having them wait. They're tired at the end of the day, and just being kids, but they get themselves in trouble because of the
take exception sometimes to their friends.
I guess for me, the biggest thing about the middle school ones is this: I feel like that so many times that's our most vulnerable kids, because they suddenly get treated by the parents, they're a little more grown up than we all know that they are or aren't, and then we're expecting them to pretty much always be out, probably on their own to the bus, or always get to school on time, way more than the other two. So that's my concern. And I also worry about how late it is and how late that is for staff, getting off work in the afternoon and all the activities and everything else that goes with our afternoon before it gets dark at 4:30 like it's over.
And mealtime in general, so if your middle schooler is out, has to do track or whatever they're doing, they're not eating dinner until later. Your elementary's already eaten dinner by themselves when they got home, they made top ramen. So you're not, there's no family time there.
That's the biggest thing I'm looking at with this schedule is you have the elementary schools getting out the earliest of the bunch. Granted, only half an hour before the high school, but an hour and 15 for the middle school. And so chances are they're getting home before any of their older siblings or their parents. So
Even if they ride the bus, they're the first ones home.
yeah, that. I don't want to keep bringing up safety here, but that to me seems like the biggest weak spot to the schedule is the safety of our elementary schoolers, the ones who have to walk home. And we don't have, our town is not good when it comes to sidewalks or bike paths. And so that leads them to be either picked up by a parent or a friend's parent or taking the bus ride home. And that still puts them getting home at the earliest time. And yeah, sure, they can head over to a friend's house, they can go to daycare, but that's just one extra thing that the parents would have to figure out that they may or may not have access to, or the student may or may not have access to, at least not on a regular basis. So that's what I am looking at right now, and I can just see that as a major safety hazard that, quite frankly, I think we're overlooking here.
I guess I would propose times that I thought with children at significant risk, and I appreciate your sentiments. I also would propose times, came together as a team, had a consultant look at it. The dates and the times that we're suggesting are not uncommon in many other school districts. However, we need to find out what's going to work best for St. Helens. I need some direction moving forward. So, because we need to get schedules done, we're butting up against some times that we've got to get some decisions made. So, you guys give me what the direction you want me to go, and I'll lead in that way.
We're always aligning our calendar with our neighbors, so let's bring in who's person.
I don't know if I have possible to go for that.
What is the drop-in date?
Yesterday.
Yeah. So we really need to make a decision. Is that what I'm hearing?
That'd be preferable.
Yeah, or if you want to table it, that's fine. We have to have just multiple scenarios. If you want to say, June work session, if you want me to bring back some more information, do that. You can put us in a way.
Yeah.
Fine.
My thought at this point is that we just go on this one because I don't think we're going to be in alignment, and that would be the way to make a decision.
Maybe one more thing, Tammy, after we talk about fellow neighbors, is that I believe everybody else in our county has a different situation than our school district, because their schools are all in one spot and everybody goes basically to the same place where we don't. I mean, the middle school is across the street in Scout Views, but otherwise, they're all in one spot. You just bring them all and drop them off and you're good, right? We don't have that same situation. I know that plays a big role in it too.
The Scout Views doesn't, they have Warren, and they definitely have different start times.
But that's the only one that's not right there.
Is alternate one the preferred at the committee, or we kind of flipped the alternate one?
Alternate one, was the one that made the most sense. And then what the committee preferred was the blue numbers there because they felt like going to 3:45 was too late. So they said, well, let's push everything back by 15 minutes.
Okay.
Warren,
So you just slid the whole thing over, it's the same spacing between buses.
all of the Scottsdale schools start between 8:10 and 8:30. Every single
So
one.
they're kind of like alternate one better than the blue riding band.
Every single one. From Warren, Auto, Caprice Metals, between 8:10 and 8:30.
The 7:45 start for high school, we're talking about people that jazz band and
It's super hard, yeah. And like 2,500 tardies.
it is what it is. Take time.
So what's to stop us from taking middle school and elementary school and just swapping them, essentially? Just swapping their start times. So like middle school starts at 8:15, elementary school starts at 9:15. What's to stop us from doing something like that? Because I remember we were talking about this, I just don't remember the exact reason.
Well, all parents wanting to go to work will find, needs them find childcare for their young ones. That's one big thing. And the other thing is we're trying to gain some plenty time for elementary after school. And if you put them, I'm certain that there'd be some time before school, but
Lifetime like this.
kind of broken up.
I feel like that was where I was really staunchly like, this being a commuter county, doesn't make a ton of sense for parents to have that kind of a start. We're gonna have to deal with kids. And frankly, and then get sports and everything else, high school students be the last one to go. The reality of the world is that as you get older, the start time doesn't typically get older. If they're earlier, it gets a little bit later. Yeah.
Or a lot later.
10, 11 o'clock in the morning. I think, though, my position at this point is work has been done. Try to make a decision. I think this needs to be another one of those things that we've got high priority to do a long-term conversation about for next year, or to involve parents and other things.
Well, like, so right now, regardless.
I think we're gonna have to make a decision.
I understand that.
That's not even on here as an action item.
Well, I know we would.
Tonight.
But you continue the discussion to find a solution right now, or rather than having the same conversation next year.
A lot
Well,
more.
it goes right in with 8.1.5.
Indeed. Yes, it does. All the complaints. Just for clarity.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's a 15-minute shift this go around. I think we see what the vote ends up. So we would have to essentially put an action item.
Well, it's not really an action item, it can be an administrative decision. But if you want to make an action item, you could, but I thought that things like that we made those as administrative decisions.
I think Scott's stuck, and he's hearing a lot of those differences in this. So without a consensus here, then how does he get his direction to be able to make an administrative decision?
So were you doing it that way? It wouldn't have to be even, I could wait clear till June 28th to ban an action item.
Right, no, it could be, give me your consensus, or you can, I believe you can take a non-binding vote poll, and then I can report if you want it to be an action item, absolutely make it an action item.
You're gonna have to make a decision. So.
Strategic planning.
I was wondering why that was.
Yeah, I don't see another meeting until the 14th. That's a work session.
Right. So I guess the question is, because there's a clear conversation and you asked, how would you like to proceed? Based on what you've heard so far, can you proceed?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can absolutely proceed. It may not be falling under what the board would hope we proceed. But yeah, I feel like as professionals, we've come together, we've done some research, we've put together a schedule that's gonna work. It's gonna kind of hit some of the things that we're interested in accomplishing. But as representatives of the community, we're asking you to have you weigh in. Or
It doesn't have to be a vote, like an official vote, but it's gotta have something.
you need some.
I'd just say leave it the same.
Can we pull that schedule back up and kind of went dark again? Sorry.
You just take a picture.
Yeah. Picture of that.
My position is to move to the blue and do a trial year. In that trial year, get a whole lot of parent feedback about how it's impacting their lives and what's working better.
We're gonna have a whole bunch of parent feedback.
You're gonna have to wait
Okay.
for this.
I'm happy to, so maybe we'll get some engagement. I love engagement from
You have a
parents.
million people here tonight, we could ask them. We should have asked at the very beginning.
I don't want to, I agree with kind of on the board.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a good crowd here.
We asked
They are the experts.
I mean, that's why we have the committees and why we invite those things, is that they can do that, and then we, unless there's a significant reason not to take that on, and at this point, me personally, I don't have a significant reason to say, I'm not gonna trust what you guys came up with. My direction for next year, my preference is that we want parents to get a larger sample on top of that and sample. That's my
But actually, one more thing. Mark, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I am going to.
No.
I need to, because the staff is not happy about this either. So it's not like it's just us.
David's just got to do with it.
Ask me.
So you have two no's and
I already
three
saw it.
whatever.
I'm just afraid we're gonna have kids staying there for an hour. As soon as they drop them off at the elementary, they're gonna go straight over and drop the kid off, so they're gonna go. No, that's my biggest issue.
Or parents will start going to work on time and your middle schoolers are gonna be heck of tardy or not show up because they're gonna be left at the bus stop on their own now.
And, I mean,
We'll find out the first one at school.
in the worst case scenario, we can make a version like, okay, this did really fail.
No way. You don't want to do it after the fact. That's why we can wait a couple weeks. It's not going to be a big deal.
I just don't see what a couple of weeks is gonna be.
Right. I think that's where I'm at, is they spent how much time on this already?
Well, I was a part of it for the first meeting and then I never got noticed again. So I don't know that it actually was organized. With all due respect, we should have had more input, I believe.
With all due respect, Melody and Kelly were both on. And
For one meeting.
you did
It was
invite
at
me
one
out.
minute.
I believe the invite was set up. So if you want us to table it, then that's fine. We can table it.
But like Trina said, we don't count as parents. So we should have actually,
But you represent the community as a.
and we're both as parents saying no.
That is fair that, on that side. And also, they represent samples of the community, but there is a significant amount they don't represent.
We just talked about our 0 to 5 community, so our youngest children, and they're being affected the most. And then our oldest, who are science, need more sleep, are getting up the earliest. And that's been yelled at for years.
If you're a middle school teacher, you want to demonstrate
I want the middle school schedule as well.
I don't wanna be in the middle either. Well, it's not an item on there, so I mean, if you three wanna say go for it. I just don't agree with the space, that's all. It's not the order of it or anything like that, just the amount of time between, the elementary.
That's the reason for it, because buses can only drive as people.
Yeah, but we haven't even looked at how full are the buses, then can we double them up for two of the, like, why can we got used to every single one of their schools starting on time between 8:10 and 8:40, and we can't. From Warren to Otto to the high school, like, that's a huge difference. They're doing exactly what we're doing.
So we can break down how many buses it has,
But we haven't looked at it for how full our buses are right now, and if they could actually double up for our elementary and our
That's
middle.
what the consultant was doing, was checking out the efficiency of our routes on this.
I only got to the one at the very first meeting that said, let's look at that, and I never saw anything else.
The consultant on the technical.
That's what that was, right?
Yeah, they were specifically looking at whether buses were being inefficient because we pay a per mile charge based on our contract. So they were brought in to do a utilization review and to corroborate any based on current contract to say what relationships made sense. They had all of our student eligible riding data as if every student who chose to ride the bus would. And they didn't see that there was egregious, even egregious is not right. They didn't have specifically any concerns with how the routes were devised. And then they came up with a couple alternates for time opportunities. And they provided them to Durham, and this is one that Durham felt like they could run, they could run that successfully and avoid the middle school pickup problems.
The further that they didn't feel like they could combine it with the grade levels. Like secondary, middle, or middle to elementary, for their bus routes.
There's combined routes.
The high school and
There's
elementary.
combined grade bands, is that what you're asking? Yeah, there's combined grade bands in the morning with high school and elementary, because they're riding together, and elementary stay on each other, so.
And I think based on that schedule too, the elementary schools are going to go there to their high school. Close our gaps.
Elementary school are on their own.
So at this point, it sounds like there's an unofficial poll of 3 to 2 to proceed and to see what happens. Ultimately, your decision making on these things is not going to be so kind of general consensus that I have ascertained from our conversation. Very well.
All right, well, anything else on the superintendent report?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Go for it.
So the other request had principal make a request to shorten the last day by an hour. So rather than the high school being 1 o'clock, middle school at 1:50, and elementary 1:30, bring them down to 12, 12:50, 12:30 for the last day of school.
That, I just want to, because I'm an hour to talk to me. Still, okay.
So we're going to raise them with 1 free hour.
I see it. High school already ends on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock.
You're not gonna be in there.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, hey,
You're like, no, they can go that route.
I'll give them an extra hour. Yeah, give them an extra hour.
But they don't get out early on Wednesday night. It just trains them, right?
Don't be that, yeah, so teachers' high school's already ended, but we're still trying to survive.
Yes. Find their way through.
That last day is, meet your friends, greet your friends, say goodbye to your teacher.
I would say that this is also one of those things, though, where I think about our seat time and our hours and our instruction hours, and this is not valuable seat time, which is a terrible thing to say, but the reality is that we get that valuable seat time in the middle of the year, and it's getting to.
Well, I know they can stay next hour on Thursday cleaning.
Hours.
The teacher will appreciate it, just say 1 more hour.
We have one more thing.
Yeah.
Something about 8th grade. Yeah, right about
Yeah, 8th grade will end the last day.
that. Yeah. You can do that one.
But that,
It's already like kind of done.
yeah.
I thought whatever their plan was, we were good with it.
Okay, just making sure.
You just need to keep your plan together. and keep rolling.
So then that is it.
That's it, all right. Okay, well, I'm going to 7.0 visitors to address the board, but I think they're long gone, but am I right? Okay.
You want to put that meeting, well, thank you.
It's on agenda items. Everything we just
Anybody?
talked about.
Yes, and then. All right, then we'll go to 8.0, and is there any agreement we could do all these at the same time?
Do we need to separate the resolutions, or can we just wrap them all up?
You can do the policy.
Policies all at the same time.
I'm going to approve 8.1.1 through 8.1.5.
Then moved and seconded to accept 8.1.1 through 8.1.5 policy updates. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Okay. Yeah, let's see here. Oops. Then we have the 8. Oh, yeah, that's right. 8.2.
I move that we adopt resolution 2022-23, number 14, authorizing the collecting government clerk to sign and secure a loan through Bank of the West.
Okay. Then moved and seconded to accept action 8.2, resolution 2022-23, number 14. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. All right, we do 8.3. You're good at it.
I guess I'll do it again.
Okay.
I'll move to approve resolution 2022-23, number 15, authorizing Bank of the West credit card limit increase.
Then moved and seconded to accept action item 8.3, resolution 2022-23, number 15. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 9.0, upcoming meeting input. June 14th, 2023, board work session, and as you all know, you have a billion things to do. But they're on your other down below. All right? With that, anybody else? Anything else?
Don't forget Plymouth High School, June 15th at 6 p.m.
No, I know there's a million things on there.
We're gonna get a hamburger.
Make sure you let us know what time.
Yankton still helping us? Is Yankton still helping graduation?
Two?
Yankton?
Yes, they're gonna be, I don't know how many. Yes.
All right, did you have anything else? Okay, with that, meeting is adjourned, and you guys can have a